What do you remember
Look,
now? From everything you read from the Quran in
hmm.
your entire life, what do you remember? Nothing? Not even one, not even one message from the Quran? Seriously? Jeet, can you hear us?
Yeah, I do. Hi guys, how are you? All of you. Assalamu alaikum to all of you.
Yeah. Walaikum salam. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm out for my post-dinner walk, and I couldn't resist coming back to your show. I just happened to open the YouTube just like 5 minutes back,
Okay.
and
Remind me again. You were a Sikh. What were you? What was your background?
I mean, yeah, I come from a Sikh background. My family is Sikh. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I don't know. Have you been listening to our stream?
Not really, but I just saw the title of it. I just saw the last guest you were talking to, that guy with the specs. I didn't get catch the name of the guy.
Okay.
Uh,
So our topic today is about the Mahakum.
oh, okay.
What do you thought was a topic today?
Yeah, I thought so. That's what it says your video, right? The
Okay.
Mahakumbh.
You got anything to add on that? Any
Yeah, I
comments
mean,
or questions?
yeah, I do. Look, I mean, if I talk about dharmic traditions, look, since I was a child, I was like 15-year-old. I read scriptures by the time I was 18. All scriptures, the Talmud, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, the Gita, and I started reading Vedas. Then I learned Sanskrit. So I've been interested into philosophy, religion, comparative religion since childhood. I mean, almost my teenage. So, and
Right.
that continued throughout my life. So that's where I'm coming from. I somehow find myself in a position where I know both Abrahamic faith as well as the Dharmic faith quite well. I studied the Jain philosophy as well, for example. That doesn't mean I'm Jain for any
So
whatsoever.
after reading all of this, what have you concluded?
This is what we discussed last time, and I think Mansoor Bhai said, okay, let him be with questions. He's not interested in answers and conclusions. Look, I haven't concluded anything. The more I know, more it opens up new vistas, right? I mean, more questions, and I don't know. I haven't, and I'm not worried about that either.
When you say you have
If,
read all these different religions, I mean, how deep did you get into it? Like, did you read all of the scriptures? Because there's no way you could have done that at 15 or
No,
even
not
now.
15. So between the age 15 till it continued, like when I was till 21, 22. So I literally read all that. Look, the scriptures are
You
something
read
that
all
there
this
are
in
very
5 years? Seriously?
5, 6 years, seven. No, I mean, it's
There's no
continuous
way.
even today.
Even
No,
you
no,
wouldn't have
it is.
covered even Hinduism in 5 years, let alone other religions.
No, so it continues till today. I continue to spend some time to study these
Okay.
topics.
So
But
that's the
what
reason
I'm
I'm
saying is
asking.
the
If I
basic.
were to ask you, what did you read and remember from the Quran that says, yes,
So,
this is something new I learned?
so I'll tell you my first experience with Quran. So, my father was a military officer. So as you know, in South Asia, generally, like the British colonization time, they have the military colonies, right? Like what they call the cantonments,
Hmm.
and it's a separate area from the civilians,
Yeah.
generally at the outskirts of the cities and the towns. So we were living there, and at the end of cantonment, rather, so there is a gap between the civilian areas and the military areas usually. And what
Yeah.
happens in India? Uh, People who are not very well off, they somehow build some sort of makeshift kind of houses in that no man's land generally. So there were a few houses over there just outside my cantonment. So I used to just run around, and so there used to live a Muslim family, and it was an old lady, and she has a daughter who was all teen, and I was like 11 years old that time, a child, and she has two sons. Now they must be in their mid 20s, early 20s, and then she has a daughter who was a teenager. I still remember her name was Hasina Appa. Well, okay, so I used to run around near their house to do bicycling or run some sports. So one day I went to their house asking for water. I said, can I get some water? I'm thirsty. They gave me the water. They asked me to come inside. But long story short, I started frequenting their house once in a while. And although they were like very humble background, but very welcoming people. They were not literate though. None of them were literate in their house. So one day that old lady, she told me that, do you read? I said, yes, I do. Do you read Hindi? I said, yeah, I can. She said, look, I'm very old and I want to actually listen to Quran. And I have a Quran which has Arabic below that. There is an Urdu translation below that. There's a Hindi. There's a lot of Quran like that in India with an Hindi translation. So she said, can you read it for me? And it's a verbatim, right? First of all, it's a verbatim translation, like as it is, and then there is a bit of explanation. So she said, "Can you read one page for me daily?" And I, because I can die anytime, I just want to listen to Quran before I die. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I will do it." So I, as an 11-year-old child, I used to go to their house like 6 days a week, sit down on the floor, and they bring that, what do you call that? The wooden where you put the Quran on top of it.
Rehal.
Yeah. And she sit in front of me, that old woman, and I sit there with my legs crossed, and I used to read one page or a couple of pages for her daily. So that was my first experience with Quran.
So
And I
what
didn't
language
understand
did you
anything, obviously.
what language did you read it in?
So it was Hindi. I read it for her. Basically, that
Okay.
was my first experience with it.
So you
I
read the
then I
you read the Quran for somebody else in Hindi when you were 11 years old. Now,
correct, yeah.
I don't know how much of the Quran do you remember from what you read?
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't say from that reading. I wouldn't know, not much, not at all.
Do you remember anything
Um,
from what you read throughout your life from the Quran?
yeah, I know the name of some main surahs, and I know basically the overall structure of Quran.
No, no,
The
I want
kind
to
of,
know what you remember from the Quran itself. What do you remember?
what I remember is, right. So my first experience of reading it was quite sobering, even in that early childhood. I mean,
Bro,
first of all,
what do you remember
look,
now? From everything you read from the Quran in
hmm,
your entire life, what do you remember? Nothing? Not even one, not even one message from the Quran? Seriously?
no, that way I remember a lot. What, tell me.
Okay, so tell me something that you remember. Go ahead.
No, so I
You know,
know
I remember you now.
the first
You're
surah
the
Al
guy who said
Fatiha.
you're
Then
the
the
guy who
second one
said you
was
are a
Al Baqarah.
scientist last time, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm a scientist. Yeah, I am. I'm an
Okay,
IITian. I'm that
bro,
famous IITian. That famous across the
bro,
world
trust
now.
me. What have you read? What is your degree?
I did my I did first the fundamental physics, and then I studied at IIT. I did my bachelor's in engineering, electrical engineering, with uh, with distinction. And
So first you did your
after that, I
bachelor's
did
in
my
what?
master's.
You did your bachelor's in what?
I did first. I studied fundamental physics from the
You did,
Delhi University, and then yeah, and then I went to IIT for my another engineering graduation, the
and
Bachelor
that
of
makes you
Engineering.
a
They call it.
scientist?
No, after that, I did my master's
Even doing a
from.
master's doesn't make you a scientist.
No, but look, listen.
Have you
What is
written
a
any
scientist?
papers?
There is no qualification for a scientist. I
Oh,
do.
there is
I am in the.
definitely. There
I
definitely
do.
is.
I do.
For someone
I
who has
do.
done
Look,
IT, you should know what a scientist is.
of course I know, but there is no fixed
Someone doing
qualification or
masters
certificate.
doesn't qualify you as a scientist.
Okay, let me put it this way. I
You know what you
studied
said
science
last
all
time?
my
Wait,
life.
wait. You said you done your masters in what?
I did my master's in engineering itself.
Okay, you did your masters in engineering. You did your
Yeah,
IIT, and you did basic
yeah.
what? Basic physics.
Physics, yeah,
Okay,
fundamental
any other
theoretical
degrees you have?
physics.
Do you have any
No,
other
that's
degree?
all.
Last
No.
time you said you're a computer scientist. So which time
Yeah,
did you
I
lie?
am. No, I did
Wait, wait,
not
you never
lie.
told us today that you did computer science as a degree. I asked you
Listen,
which
bro,
time did you.
I can send you my LinkedIn profile. You can go and
No,
check
no,
it
no,
out.
no.
If
You
I'm
can
there
if
out
you
there
can
only.
lie now, you can
Listen,
lie on
buddy.
your
No, no,
profile.
no. Listen.
No, no,
After
honestly, which
my
time did you lie? This time or the last time when you joined when you said you were a
no,
computer scientist, hence you are a
neither,
scientist?
neither. Listen to me.
Goodbye. The guy is a time waster. Doesn't remember anything from the entire Quran he read. If I read something when I was 11 years old, an entire Quran, I would remember at least one bit of it. He's here to waste time. Why do they lie, man?